just let me know when you're ready.
Can we turn yours on?
Hmm?
Can we turn yours on?
Sure.
I don't know where Chad went.
Tell me you'll be on the payroll.
Volunteer time.
Let's see if we got any stragglers.
Yeah, we're a little early, so.
Yeah.
Everybody having a good afternoon?
Yes, sir.
So far.
Good. We'll keep our fingers crossed.
Who just pulled up?
One that just pulled up, I'm not sure which one it was, but they were unloading.
Yeah.
We all started. And he said that.
Yeah, we'll wait on them. Give them time.
And they start walking in, everybody just turn around and look at them.
Everybody having a good summer?
Yeah, how
Good.
about you?
Good.
Can't get here on time, just get here when you can.
All I can do.
We told them we'd wait. We'd wait. Tell me, it ain't the first rodeo, is it? Just let me know where you're gonna set your mic up here too, and we'll get it set up. Is everybody ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon. We want to thank y'all for all being here. Today, this press conference is regards to Rock the South. It's the 3-day country music festival that we have here in Cullman County. I'm here with District Attorney Champ Crocker, Chief of Police Dave Nacetta. We three have the major roles in this event as far as law enforcement goes. So we're going to kind of talk about the event itself, what our roles are, and what we're expecting the next 3 days. So on behalf of the Sheriff's Office, we typically handle most of the stuff on the outside perimeter of the venue. Of course, we always have our mobile jail on the inside, so we have a place for people that make bad decisions. But we'll be all hands on deck. We'll have over 100 of our deputies there, 100 of our personnel. We'll be bringing traffic in, getting traffic out, dealing with pedestrians. But this is one of the things I always try to tell everybody. You're going to have thousands and thousands of people coming to a venue that's out in the county, even though the property it's on is in the city. Everything else is county, which is dry, which means you can't have alcohol in those areas. So it's kind of unique for people. But you need to have a plan when you park, because most parking is not on site. It's going to be anywhere from a mile to, a quarter mile away. Know where you park, whether you got to set a pin, flag it on your phone, but when you leave, that way you know where you go. The other thing is make sure that you have a designated driver. Because the venue is in the city, there will be alcohol sold. Have a designated driver. Have someone that's responsible. When the event is over, all traffic will be flowing out. That means you cannot come into the traffic. When the event's over, everybody will leave and it's one way out. So just know that if you've got to pick up someone, we have a designated pickup area, and it's going to be at the intersection of Leonard Road and Swafford, or what we call Logan too. And we'll have a designated drop off and pickup there for pedestrians. You'll have deputies manning every intersection from north, south, east, and west. So there will be a lot of law enforcement on the ground. But the main thing is be responsible. The one thing I always tell, and I usually see folks that have went out and they've bought brand new cowboy boots and brand new shoes. I ask them, I said, have you worn those a little bit? Most of them no, they're too pretty to wear out. Well, by the end of the night, your feet will be hurting. So I would tell you, make sure you break your shoes in, because it's a tough walk if you're walking a mile barefoot on some of those roads. Make sure to stay hydrated. We're going to have a lot of medical personnel there. We'll have Cullman EMS, we'll have the city fire department, we'll have county fire departments that will be out there, and we will have a ton of medical personnel. If you get overheated, make sure you go to one of the medical tents. They'll be flagged, you can see them, and we'll get you the treatment that you need. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Chief Nacetta, and then the district attorney will speak.
Thank you, Sheriff. My name is David Nacetta. I'm the chief of the Cullman Police Department, and to complement what Sheriff Gentry said, we, for the most part, handle everything that happens inside the venue as far as security and law enforcement goes. So they handle the outside and we handle the inside. It's kind of a unique position, as he said. It's the venue is actually in the city limits. However, it's completely surrounded by the county, so it's a little bit unique. But as far as security goes inside of the event, we'll have every person that is off duty working at the police department, and then we're also complemented by a number of officers and deputies from outside agencies all across North Alabama. So we'll have as many, if not more, than what Sheriff Gentry has on the outside. So we want everybody to have a good time. We want everybody to feel safe, and we want everybody to stay healthy. As he mentioned, there's a lot of concern for the heat, and it looks like we're going to be helped a little bit by rain and hopefully some cooler temperatures, but still, we're going to have 2 medical tents with physicians staffing them, so that if you do get into a bad spot, you can get an IV, you can get some relief from the heat, all kinds of stuff. So we want to make sure that everybody stays healthy. One of the big detriments to everybody staying healthy, and then another detriment to everybody having a good time is the propensity to indulge in a little bit too much alcohol. That's bad for a lot of reasons. It's bad for your health because it's going to make you dehydrate. It's going to make you make poor decisions, and eventually it could end up getting you on our radar, which will likely get you thrown out of the event or possibly in jail. So we want everybody to have a good time, but like I said, it has to come with that disclaimer that if you start misbehaving, we're going to take you out of the equation. The first route is going to be if it's not really that bad, if you're just kind of becoming a nuisance or something, then we're going to escort you out of the event. It is a ticketed event, and as such, we can kick you out if you start becoming a pest. So that'll be the first step, and if it's bad enough, then we'll take you to jail, and you'll be accommodated by Sheriff Gentry for the rest of the evening. So we don't want that to happen. We like to see everybody get along, but unfortunately, that's just not always the case. So, but the biggest thing is we want everybody to feel safe, and we want to make sure that they stay healthy. But that's pretty much it. So I'll pass it off to the DA.
The average cost of a DUI is estimated to be $15,000. And that's if you don't hurt someone else or hurt yourself. We want everybody to have a good time. We plead, don't drink and drive. As the sheriff said, have a designated driver, have a taxi, have a plan in place before you're in that position and are incapable of safely operating a motor vehicle. There will be a large police presence at the event. The district attorney's office will have a presence there and will be standing by to assist in any way we can. We hope that we don't see a lot of arrests. We hope that people behave. We hope that we don't have anybody do anything to harm themselves or anyone else. And that's one of the reasons why we're having this press conference, is to tell the public ahead of time to have a plan, take precautions, have a good time, but obey and respect the law. Thank you.
One of the things I want to bring up is there's a large pedestrian traffic when the event starts and when it's over. So, you know, if you're going to be on the road driving, make sure you pay attention to pedestrians. The pedestrians will have a lane to walk in when they leave the venue. Sometimes they don't follow it, so we're there making sure that they try to follow the lanes. But one of the other things I want to bring up is that, again, everything around that venue is in the county, and it's our citizens that are there. We will not tolerate with you going and beating on their doors just because you think it would be fun. We're not going to tolerate you urinating in their yards or anything like that. If you decide that that's the route you want to go, I've got plenty of room in the jail for you, and we'll make sure you get a ride there. Again, we want everybody to be safe. Hey, it's 2024. You can make a preparation to have someone pick you up, take you back to where you're staying, to make sure you do it safely so no one is harmed. Again, be smart. Know where you park. Know who you come with. The one thing that I would tell everybody is, if you come as a group, you leave as a group. Every year we have people that will come to the main four-way intersection, and they've had friends that have left them, they're lost. Hey, take care of each other. You know, have a designated driver, especially ladies. Ladies, if you come together, you leave together. Take care of each other. At this time, I'd like to open it up for any questions.
So you mentioned the county itself is dry. Parking is opening hours before the doors actually open. If people are getting there early, what does that mean in regards of tailgating? Will y'all be patrolling that?
Sure. So it's a little different. You cannot drink alcohol on those county roads. You know, if it's in a private person's home that allows it, then you can. But they won't be on the side of the road, you know, tailgating, drinking alcohol, throwing beer cans out in the yard. We won't tolerate that. But if it's on private property, private business, then that private owner allows it, then it's legal.
In years past, about how many DUIs are you seeing on average around the South?
Actually, we see very few around it. I mean, we'll have a few. Most of what we deal with is inside or just outside of the venue, where, like Chief Nacetta said, somebody's had consumed too much. And this is the thing, when you're in that venue and you're elbow to elbow with people, if you're highly intoxicated and you're running into people, running into ladies, you're knocking drinks out of someone's hand, a fight is going to ensue. So one of our main priorities is, when we see that, we're going to snatch you out of the crowd, because we know the next time you run into somebody, potentially could be a fight.
And then you bringing up a fight, last year there was the attack on the 18-year-old.
Yes.
Are any new safety measures going in place to kind of help mitigate that?
Sure. You know, the safety measures that we take, we will have a high law enforcement presence inside and outside the venue, constantly roving through those crowds to prevent it, like we always do, but it'll be stepped up this year to ensure, and we're going to be talking to people. If we see somebody and you're with a group and you can tell that person's getting a little too intoxicated, we're going to be telling them, hey, go take them to the medical tent. They need some IVs, they need fluids, they need water, because they're headed down a road that may land them out of the event or in jail.
Those officers that are gonna be inside just roving around, will they be in uniform or plain clothes?
Uniform. Everything that we do out there will be uniformed. We have what we call a training uniform. Typically, it'll be green pants, black shirt like I have on. The city has something very similar, but yeah, you will identify as law enforcement. They'll typically will have a vest carrier on and those kind of things.
And you said the road is one way going out. Is it can you,
Sure.
while it's going on, can you go both ways?
So while it's going on, the neighborhood traffic will be allowed to come and go, the people that live there. Once you come into the venue, you come into park, you can leave, but at a certain point that night, we will shut it down and no traffic will come in. So I'll just give you kind of a basic layout, and it's kind of an easy layout. So the venue sits at an intersection of County Road 469 and 436. So traffic on the north end of 469 will come in off 278. And when they are released, they'll go back the same way they come in. They won't be able to come through the main intersections. They have to go back out the way they come in. Same thing on the south side. If you're on South 469 and you park, when you leave, you're going to go back out south, and then you can turn right on 222 or turn left. If you park on Swofford on the west side, when you're released, when we release Swofford, we're going to be releasing 2 lanes because there's a large parking area on that side. And you can either take what we call Bates Road, or you can go down to Grandview and turn on 421, and it'll take you back to 222. But the east side of Swofford, which is across the pedestrian bridge, now it will have 3 avenues out. You'll have Logan, Swofford, and Mize Road. So it's a little easier on that side to get out for those individuals that park on that side, which is what we call the Fedder's lot or the Greer Billy's lot on that side. So those will be a little easier to get out. But the main thing I tell people is have patience. Last year, I think we were at 35-ish thousand, maybe 34,000. And within about an hour and a half, we had all the cars out. So I tell people, be prepared. You're going to have to sit there a little bit, but have patience and plan on, you'll be moving, but you'll get out.
And-
Have you-
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, have you guys or the event itself, put out any maps to show in times of when the traffic issues are gonna be?
Sure. We're working on the maps now, and we'll have something sent out probably today, some point, so.
In a venue like that, what's the biggest obstacles you guys face as far as keeping everybody safe?
Well, just like anything, we go over risk assessment. If something bad happens, if somebody pulls a weapon or something bad happens. So that's the first thing that we plan for, is that risk assessment of, if this happens, what do we do? How do we evacuate people? How do we identify threats and those kind of things? Which, like any other event, I know the city will more than likely have their helicopter up. We'll have our drones up watching the crowds. We'll have people in the command post watching the cameras. So you'll have a lot of law enforcement presence there paying attention to those things. But really that first risk assessment, if something bad happens, and we deal more with heat casualties than anything. People not preparing, hey, I drink too much alcohol and I don't have enough water and I get too intoxicated. We deal with more medical emergencies than anything on site. So we really have to prepare for that.
How are the ticket holders? What are some items you can or cannot bring in?
So it is a private event. So this is controlled by Rock the South. It's not a law enforcement event. It's not anything to do with us. It's a private event. They do not allow, Rock the South does not allow you to bring a firearm in, or a knife, or your own alcohol, or anything like that. So they do not allow any type of weapon to be brought into the event. And they will have private security. It's not law enforcement, but they will have private security that will be checking citizens as they come in, not law enforcement.
Can I say
Yes,
something? I was gonna say, one thing to add to that, I know if you go to Rock the South's website, there's a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of stuff that you might not think of. And one of the things that I did notice is I think they even said that we're not gonna allow smoking this year. I could be wrong, but I mean, that was one of the things I saw. So just understand that is not our call, that's Rock the South's call. So it's not unusual for us to have people at the metal detector say, well, that's not, it's not against the law. Well, it's not against the law, but it's not up to us. That's the venue's decision. And if they decide, I mean, a lot of time that comes up with outside food, people wanna bring, crackers or whatever, and that gets thrown in and that's not our decision. For that reason, I would encourage everybody to check the website first to make sure that you're not trying to bring something in that that's their decision, not ours. So.
You led me to the next one. I remember in years past they had like water stations. Is that gonna be?
Yes, they are
Can you
going.
bring in your own water? water bottle? How does that work?
I believe that they will allow you to bring in water bottles. I think they want them to be like, water bottles that are clear that they can see, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, they will have water stations that you can take advantage of getting free water and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Will there be metal detectors?
Yes, yeah, there will be metal detectors, yeah.
Chief, last year was your first Rock the South as chief. Going from that to this year, is there anything different that y'all have planned?
Not a whole lot. I will say that we've rearranged our teams a little bit more to where we actually have more teams with kind of less people so that we can move through the crowds a little bit easier. That and kind of what Sheriff Gentry said. I know the question was asked of what is our biggest concern or our biggest thing. It's always violence. That's always our biggest concern. But realistically, we spend a whole lot more time fighting the crowds, trying to get EMS into people who have fallen out in a big group of people. And so that's the bulk of what we do. There's going to be, I think there's 10 or 11 EMS gators that transport people in and out of the crowds. So realistically, that's what we spend more time doing, is getting them to part the crowd so that they can get into people who've either fallen out or have some kind of a medical emergency. So we've modified our teams to be a little bit more agile so that they can move in the crowds a little bit easier, because in the past we've had teams of anywhere from 5 to 7 officers, and it's kind of like getting that many people walking through a line and it's difficult to do. So we've shortened, we've lessened the number to make it to where they can move through the crowd easier. So.
And with like recent events, like what happened this past Saturday with the assassination attempt, is there any kind of heightened security for this event?
We do a threat assessment with a state agent, with a couple of different agencies, and right now they're telling us that risk is very low. Again, it's something you always prepare for, you plan for, but we don't have any significant threats at the time. But again, like I said, that's neither here nor there. But we don't have anything really specific that we're dealing with.
And I might could add something on that. It's like anything else. It's an analogy I've used over the years. You pray for peace and prepare for war. Now we get out there, but we prepare for war. I mean, we prepare for bad people and bad things. And so, all of our deputies, all of our officers that are out there, I mean, they're going to be constantly looking for someone that's bad. With what happened with the assassination attempt. I mean, that's a venue that we're very familiar with. Of course, we had a Trump rally there a couple years ago. So that is a real threat for us, and we're constantly scanning. Our deputies going to be watching people in the crowd, watching people walk up to the venues. So we're very heightened of awareness of what's going on.
I don't know the jail here holds an enormous amount of people, and you got plenty of room. But you also have mobile jail site there on the site, don't you?
We do. We have a mobile jail there, and it's set up, ready to go. Typically, if it's somebody that we can book in and book out and get them processed, they stay there on site. If it's somebody that's extremely violent or unruly, then we'll go ahead and transport them here. So we have unlimited space, and we'll fill it if needed to keep the community safe. So, again, thank y'all for being here, and thank y'all for getting the information out.